Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30. It is Tuesday, January 20th. Time to wrap it up. And it feels very much like we are in a risk-off mode, kind of what we thought this morning. Even though it did the first part of the day, didn't do much to show that. After getting into that latter half after noon Eastern, it started drifting lower, and since then it's been just kind of been trading lower, a good 50 points down. So the ES taking out the lows, they're down at the 68.30s now. They'll stay on the short side. Nasdaq as well. Taking out support, heading down past the 240s, and it's kind of drifting and just heading down. So we are in the risk-off mode for sure. So started off this morning thinking range-bound trading. We were looking at selling strength for rotations down, and boy, did we get some. We got some strength, and it looks to me like they were holding here for the longest time. And in the afternoon, like noon, the whole thing started drifting lower, and you can see how that whole thing has started. That's absolutely went down and taking out key support, and we are down in some territory which is not pretty. So we're down here at the lower end of this range. So let's see that volume edge, right? Lower volume edge at 68.20s. That comes out. We have a little bit lower at 68.15 to 20s here. That comes out. Yeah, bets are off. We can head a lot lower. So we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. But definitely a whole different dynamic this week than we had last week. So I'm telling you, it's like you never know. Everything looks great, and trading here at 20% good news is start trading higher, and then you have like a tariff spat going on, and the market is just tanking. The market does what it does. It freaks out, and then it sells off. Eventually, we're going to figure out that it's not one of the negotiating stuff going on, and then they'll start recovering again. But right now, we're in risk-off mode, and that's where we are. So yes, trade that on the short side of the market. To get started, looking to sell strength, rotations down, and I would look to sell against the let's see, it's going to be in 68.50s. It's going to be against that mode here at the 68.70s, and then of course up here at the 68.90s, 85 to 90s, rotations down. So that's going to be the initial rundown here to or strength. If this starts trading above that the area, the 68.90s, we may change our bias, but right now it feels very much like a risk-off kind of environment until we get settlement on what's going on with that, the tariff stuff, and then we'll wait for the week to complete. And in the meantime, I probably can expect risk-off kind of feelings and the whole thing. Nasdaq, same story. They're looking to sell strength this morning. They ran up here. They were up here against that 430s. They held here for quite a bit of time. I started thinking that we had a shot at staying range bound, but then afternoon came and weakness ensued, and there we go, heading lower. So we're down here and heading down to the 25,000s. And in the bigger picture, we are well in an area where it can go really, it can head quite a bit lower. You can head all the way down here to these areas down here at the 24,400 down to the 24,000 potentially. So they could get a little bit gnarly here. So we'll see how bad it's going to get. But anyway, I would stay on the short side. So I had a couple of trades from yesterday. So I was down 67. I hadn't taken any on the ES trade. I'm still down 67. I did take a Nasdaq trade. I was up 50 this morning, and I'm up 130. So net up for the trading day is the day and a half since it includes yesterday. So net up one for the day. But man, it's been with this kind of volatility. I mean, I'm just watching the Nasdaq snap back and forth. It's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to stay away from it. I wasn't paying attention to the way down. When it starts grinding lower like that, it's very tradable. I just wasn't paying attention to it. I kind of tuned it out after that first trade. I figured like, okay, one and done. I'm in the green. I'm just going to stop this craziness. But anyway, the afternoon was not bad at all. They're definitely very tradable. You see nice runs to the downside, but you kind of had to get in on it. If you're hesitating and if you're getting late on the rally, yes, you can get yourself in trouble as well. But look at how nicely these pullbacks to the tablet 1, 2. This one didn't quite make it up there, but a couple of nice tablet trades there as well. And then on the bond market, I did take one trade. The bond market was kind of back and forth a bit today. They were to the downside. We started looking to sell strength, and this kind of crazy stuff in the morning. I didn't do much. I didn't know quite what big deal was at 8:30, but when it came up here against the high here, they stalled for a bit. I got short, faded a few ticks of heat, had a nice profitable trade, 4 tick profitable. I was at break even. Then they high take me right back to that fourth even trade, stop me out, traded back down again. But then you look what happened that way. That's why I don't mess with that stop. It ran it all the way up here again. So if I had left in my stop outside that high, I would have been just finding myself in one of those grinds to the upside in a loser. That would have been even worse. So anyway, I thought I had a shot at getting back to that mean mode or the midpoint or something, but it didn't happen. So now they're back there. So that's they see after that London close, it drifted all the way back down there slowly but steadily. If you can sit there for 3 hours, you will be back at the midpoint again. So anyway, so bond market just stay range bound and bias going to stay on the downside the way it looks right now. Did not make it back to 115, so I will just stay with definitely have a short bias going into the overnight. So looking to sell strength against that 16s and up to the 20s, 21s here for rotations down. All right, back to the ES and yes, a Nasdaq, and that kind of holding right now. We'll see if chances are I would expect end period potentially to make another leg lower, but I'm not going to trade it now late in the session. I'm up in the green, so I'm not going to mess around with it. But I would not be surprised if the end period here takes another leg lower here going into the close. So anyway, we'll leave it there. I'll see you guys back bright and early in the morning. Now for tomorrow, the news is we got mortgage apps at 7, housing starts and permits at 8:30, and at 10 we get construction spending numbers, and then pending home sales at 10. That's what we got. Not crazy stuff, but it could be market moving. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys back in the morning. Have a good evening. Later.